I will be testing what dungeon drops the best raw gold. With that said, the difference between normal and heroic is relatively small, so I will be doing normal for this just because it's what most people will be farming when we have enough gear. Also, even though it is raw gold, I will be including a breakdown of the raw materials we get, such as meat, cloth, etc., but I will not be able to give you the information such as leather from skinning because I do not have skinning on this character. The gold values I have averaged out over the runs that I did, meaning this is not fully accurate, but gives you an idea of the amount of gold you'd be getting per run as well as for the hourly rate. The hourly rate will be much more accurate than the per run amount. It is not efficient to do right now as a DPS, though it is very efficient currently for some tanks to do. To start off, I went to Mists. The beginning trash here is the hardest of any dungeon, with the Timon villagers stun being one of the main issues. Killing all of the trash here from start to the first boss gave 64 gold worth of grey items, 53 gold worth of raw gold, and no BOE drops had happened for all of the runs I did. So you get 117 gold over the course of 12 minutes it takes to clear and leave, giving you a rough average of 585 raw gold per hour, clearing it all with 0 BOE drops in the mix. Clearing the whole dungeon itself gave 149 gold in greens and blues, 126 gold in grays, and 133 gold in currency. It took an average of 42 minutes per clear. This gives you 571 gold per hour. The materials gotten for the full run is 29 shrouded cloth, 5 lightless cloth, and 21 crawler meat. Now for the other side. Although this is already classed as the best gold making dungeon because of the leather and meat farm, I was wondering, what about raw gold? How good is it? So for beginning trash here, I took the area with the most mobs, which happens to be where you grind out the leather and meat anyways, the Ardenweald Wing. For the first trash section, I included the platforms to get there, as well as any mobs that touched them or pathed onto them. You also have the whole Ardenweald Wing cleared up to the first boss, including the little side area that is down underneath the waterfall. Clearing everything there gave 80 gold in grey items, 74 raw gold, and 50 gold in BOEs, giving you 154 gold without BOEs and 204 gold with. Took 10 minutes and 30 seconds to clear everything. This means there is roughly 893 gold an hour here without BOE drops. For clearing the whole dungeon though, you get 130 gold worth of grey items, 134 gold worth of looted raw gold, and 159 BOE gold in about 39 minutes, with the Mazzola fight taking about 8 minutes of that time. So you get about 396 gold without BOEs and 634 gold with BOEs per hour. The materials gotten are 8 ribs, 7 crawler meat, 2 shanks, 18 wings, 8 lightless cloth, and 34 shrouded cloth. Most of this was gotten in the first section of the trash. Now we're off to go see maldraxxus, and into the Plaguefall we go first. Clearing the trash here has 2 problems. One is the nest. These will keep you in combat, and even if you kill them, they do not drop any loot. The second is the Plague Rocks. They apply a debuff that reduces your max HP by 80%. Now, for the first section of the trash, -1 Plague Rock at the beginning because it has a reset tether for some reason, is 117 gold from grays, 52 raw gold, and 207 gold from BOE drops. This took 15 minutes to complete as well as leave, but I did die twice here, bringing it down to 13 minutes 30 seconds. This gives a gold income of roughly 760 gold per hour without BOE drops, but you know, that seems kind of low and I feel like it could have been a lot better, so I decided let's get rid of some of this stuff we don't need to kill. I decided to instead just kill the fungus side with the flesh giant and the slimes behind him. This gave about 10 gold worth of gray items, 44 raw gold, and 86 gold from BOEs, and took 3 minutes and 26 seconds to clearing. This gives about 918 raw gold an hour. Does not include the BOE drop, but because there is an instance limit, you'll only be getting 459 gold before you get locked out. Now, if we add on the mobs around the hives, but skip out on killing the hives themselves, just deal with the constant damage, we get 38 gold in grays, 44 raw gold, and 125 in BOEs, and takes 5 minutes and 33 seconds. That includes the other stuff. This gives about 885 gold an hour. Now, as for full clearing, I got 200 gold worth of gray items, 135 raw gold, and 425 gold worth of gear drops, and took 54 minutes. This is a total of 760 gold. That would be the hourly rate, pretty much. For the whole run, the materials I got is 43 shrouded cloth, 9 lightless cloth, and 4 wings. Now for Theater of Painful Memories. First, the trash at the start takes 1 minute to clear, gives you 17 raw gold. Since you can pull the trash to the door, entering depends on load times and is limited to instance reset. So for this, I take off about 5 minutes for all the loading time. That being said, 935 raw gold an hour, but because there's an instance limit, it's only 170 gold before you are locked out. As for clearing most of the dungeon, from start to finish, you get 28 gold from grays, 85 raw gold, and 71 gold from gear drops. This takes about 30 minutes, so about 268 gold an hour. Honestly, at this point, I see a trend happening here in which when you do the whole dungeon, it generally is not worth it. You're actually getting less gold than doing that first section. This is partially due to the fact that gear is not guaranteed drop from bosses, even when you're solo. That said, for the rest of the dungeons from this point here on, I will not be doing full clears and just be doing the trash sections. Now it is time to go over to Bastion. To start off with, I will go into Spires of Ascension. If you clear just the initial set of mobs without flying over to the boss, you can leave and enter in about 1 minute and 50 seconds. 17 gold, worth of grays, 34 raw gold, no BOE drops whatsoever. I will round this to 2 minutes, depends on how fast you load in and out and everything. So for 2 minutes, including load times, you get about 1,530 raw gold an hour, which is pretty high, but you're going to hit the instance limit before you even get there, meaning you'll get about 510 gold within 20 minutes, and then you will be locked out for 40 minutes. But some of these runs I got 23 gold worth of grays, and other times I only got 1 gold. It eventually averaged out to 17 gold over the runs. That means this 510 gold could be significantly less for you, or maybe even higher. It's very inconsistent. If you go over to the boss platform though, it will take 4 minutes and 18 seconds to leave and enter, and will require you to kill yourself on the boss, but you will get 27 gold in grays and 48 raw gold. I'd assume 4 minutes 20 seconds. Nice. And you will get about 1,042 gold an hour, but you will hit the instance limit again, this time dropping it down to 750 gold at least. As for Necrotic Wake, the time to clear here and the gold you get seem rather consistent, though you will need to use the spear that is over to the right side and make sure it goes through as many mobs that you pulled as possible. From the first section of mobs, minus the ones behind the boss as well as the caster next to the staircase, is 59 gold worth of gray items, 4 raw gold, and 40 gold worth of BOEs on average. This takes about 5 minutes and 20 seconds per run. This means you get about 711 gold per hour, but since there is an instance limit, this drops down to 630 gold per hour. You get about 2 lightless silk and 14 shrouded cloth per run though. Now we're at the final 2 dungeons, and Revendreth. It is time for Halls of Atonement. So for this, I grabbed 3 relatively large packs of mobs, but not everything in the first section. Doing so, I got an average of 55 gold and gray items, 118 raw gold, and 200 gold in BOEs within 6 minutes. This means about 1,730 raw gold without BOEs per hour, and you never hit the reset limit. You will also get about 28 shrouded cloth, 3 lightless silk, 10 ribs, and 6 shadowy sinks per run. And as your gear scales, the more of these mobs you can add to these large packs, meaning your gold income will increase, whereas the time stays relatively the same, meaning you will slowly get more here as our gear scales up. And finally, we have Sanguine Depths. The average for clearing all the trash before the boss and going back to the entrance here is 12 gold worth of gray items, 31 raw gold, and 22 gold in BOEs, taking about 3 minutes and 30 seconds per run. This means you will get about 735 gold per hour, but hit the instance limit cap, so it will be dropped down to 430 gold per hour before you get locked out. So to summarize, the best raw gold you can get is in Halls of Atonement, which honestly will get better over time as we get more gear. That means we can pull more mobs into the group and get more gold out of it. Though if you're looking for just gold in general, not just raw gold, then the other side is still king because of the auction house where you have skinning, you can get a lot of leather and you can sell that on the auction house unless leather takes a huge hit. That's going to be the best for a long time. That said, I'm currently in a heat wave. I have no AC. I have no fan. Chances of me getting a video out next weekend, it's relatively low, but I'll try. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! Some closing thoughts here. I feel I could have done much better job with this video. I could have optimized a route for you to kill on the other side for better gold averages like I did for Plaguefall. But honestly, there's a lot I feel like I could have improved on, and I really thought of scrapping this video.